Hello viewers and welcome back to Decidedly Neapolitan. And why am I at the title screen? Because bees, 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 bees. How appropriate. Also, I spent on the weekend probably close to 2 hours. Granted, don't feel bad for me. 2 hours, wow, that's a lot of time. Updating the server to version 2.4.19. And it only took that long because I try to do multiple things at once, and I can't. I try, but I can't. But the most important update, the most important thing to the update, I'll show you. Just open up NEI with the word princess, and wow. But luckily, that doesn't change the path that I'm currently on with my bees. I have, finally, I've got this beautiful, exquisite, wondrous template. Now, not all of these things are the best things that I could have, but it's getting there. This one, the most important part, is fertility 4, lifespan shortest. This is what we give a bee to make them have as many babies as they can, as quick as they can. So then we have enough of them to steal whatever chromosomes they may have that could make our bee population even better. We're assimilating them in a way. Kind of creepy, kind of cool. This one, the best thing to note on it is the fertility of 1 and the speed. I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing it in front of my own face. There it is. 1, 2, 3, third one down, speed fast. Speed there stands for production speed. And lifespan longer. Now there's lifespan longest, and we will work to get that eventually. But lifespan longer, fertility 1, speed fast. We have given this to our very first set of worker bees down here in my new bee Basamante. Now, I'll knock out a port of this wall to show you. It's a ravine. It's a ravine. But I've put up some walls, of which I now cannot replace because I don't have the same amount of blocks because some of my blocks fell down. But that's okay. I can fix it later. And I put down a floor and a couple walls, and then I put down some grass. Now, these yellow flowers are the ones I placed. The rest have been created by the bees. Because I give all my bees... Why is there 47 there? I give all my bees the flower effect. Because I think that's the most interesting. Now, these should not be making drones because these should be making one at a time. Onesie twosie. But there is our combs. And also a new item, a little spot loader. Now let's give an example of how we do. I don't know why this is doing what it's doing. And it's possible they're still at 2 times. So when I ran these through the thing up there, it takes, but sometimes the bad genes can stick around. So that's something I'll address later on. You think you got the bee genetics figured out, and they find a way to let you down. The biggest problem with having so many drones is you don't need them. You just don't need them. You can't use them for anything useful. You could turn them into bRanN, but the bRanN is actually not that great. The other thing I'd like to share with you is, see these genetic labwares? See how I have 6 of them? See how there's 5 there? And none there. There we go. What's that? Oh, that's my 2 chromosome guy. Yeah. I am completely out of diamonds, so that means I can't make any more. So eventually I'm going to hit a wall here, a brick wall that says, no, you can't. You can't make any more. But what I am working on, what we are working on, what our ultimate bee glorious task that we're going to use on our templates, all of them, is the effect, Now on here, there is no effect. On here, there's an effect called Heroic. Heroic will attack the monsters that are within the area of the beehive. The other thing I have on here is Territory Large. That's the biggest you can have. I think it's 11 by 11 by up and down 7. We're going to replace that, though, with something called Explorer. Now, I don't know how good Explorer is, but it gives experience to all players within range. It's the nicest bee effect, and every single bRanN bee is going to have this hard-coded as part of their genetic structure. Now we get the Explorer effect from an endemic drone. Great. Where do I find these? Well, let's left-click. To get an endemic, and don't pay attention whether it's queen, princess, drone, it really doesn't matter. The species we want is endemic. To get an endemic, I need to mutate an exotic and a tropical. Great news. We have 1,000,000 tropical anythings. Okay? So how do we get an exotic? Well, that's a tropical and an austere. Okay, how do I get an austere? Well, that's a modest and a frugal. All right, I have modest. How do I get a frugal? Well, a frugal you can get a couple different ways. You can mix a modest with a fiendish, or a modest with a sinister. All right, how do I get a sinister? Sinister isn't too hard to get. You can mix cultivated and modest. I have those, and so I did that. So let's go check on it, see how it's doing. Hello, little guy. How you doing? Oh, you are full up, and you have no queen. Ah, I was worried about that. Oh, you do have a queen. There you are. You were in the... No. Just calm down. This thing was so full that the queen couldn't go, so it was stuck in the pipe. Oh, I'm glad we didn't lose the queen. It is ignoble stock, though, which means less than perfect. It does have a chance of death every mating season, whatever you want to call it. However, I was actually able to get the sinister trait from these guys, so we could always make more. But for now, we don't need this running. So let's disable that. And I don't know if we're going to need this for anything, but this is a hellish and arid humidity area. So until we get to the bees that have a trait that actually gives some leeway on the humidity and the area, we're going to have to kind of play to their wants and desires. So the next thing I want to do is I want to mutate these guys. Frugal is the one we want. A tricky queen. Occurs between October 15th. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so we want the frugal. That's the next step in our chain of trying to get the explorer trait. That's going to take a modest and sinister. Since I have a sinister drone, I need a modest princess. I have a couple. So that should do us plenty. And actually, since I have a couple, let's go ahead and mutate a few. And that will just make the process of getting drones from them that much more easier. Anytime we make a new bee, if we don't want to have to go down the evolutionary path every single time, then what we want to do is take the time to get the species trait from them. And then later on, if we decide, oh, to get this, I need this, and I don't have it already, then all I got to do is go in my chest here, grab one of these, replicate it if I only have one left, and then make the bee of that type. It's building shortcuts for us for the future. And I know later on I'm going to thank me because I'm that kind of guy. So you put the 2 in there. And we're going to need some genetic labware. And this is where you can see we're starting to run out of supplies. And that has had time to fully charge, but that will not last. And then you just pick which one you want. We want the frugal. So you click on it, and it goes. And when this thing is full, it goes fast. And that's nice. And then we get that going. And then we have 2 frugal queens. Excellent. The next step is, because these guys might not be the nicest bees in the world, we're going to scan them. At least one, because it's going to come with the default stuff. Flower type cactus, that's not going to work. Production normal, lifespan long, pollination slowest, territory average. None of these effects are that great, except for the both one. That's pretty cool. So the next step is we're going to want to run them through this genetic template. And we're going to want to run them through this so that they can make more babies, be okay with flowers, have a short lifespan so they have the babies faster. And that's just how we make sure we get enough so that we can build them up. So let's grab the little bit of genetic labware we have here, and let's run that one through. And we can pop that one in there to run through. And then I'm going to need at least one more, because we're going to have to run them through twice. And the reason is because then I also want to make sure to replace their flowers and effect. The reason I don't have the effect heroic as part of this genetic template, because I know I'm going to get to that explorer bee eventually, and I don't want to have to redo this. Although, to be honest, I could replicate this in here, and then I would only need to run these guys through once instead of twice. And so for a little bit of effort, I'd have a lot of bit of gain. So I really should be doing that. I just thought about the ramifications of it now. It's like for a little bit of effort, you can have a lot of bit of gain. So do it that way, bRanN. Do it that way. Now, these bees are hot and arid, so they actually probably will work perfectly in that tiny setup that I have in the nether. And since I got two of them, I'll want to take another thing over. The thing I'm going to have to do, though, since I ran them through as queens, is let them process once and then pick a drone and pick a princess and run them all through. And so you can see this takes a lot of energy and a lot of materials, and it uses up my genetic labware, which I'm now down to 5. So sad. But I'm going to try to work on this off camera. I'll get as far as I can, and then we'll check in, because I'm not going to make you watch the whole process. But I did want you all to see kind of the different step-by-step that I've been doing for just one trait. Well, as I said, it has been a few days' time, and I have achieved my goal. Showing it off, though, seems kind of lackluster, so I've done a few other things, and I'm going to go ahead and show those off to you. So the first thing I want to say is thank you so much to Rick, who gave me 2 diamond blocks stacked right here. I took them, I used them, the bees ate them up, I ran out, and then I took most all of my coal. I left some. Okay, I got plenty. But I took like 3 or 4 full stacks, compressed it all down, went over to his base, turned them into diamonds. It took forever. It's a long process. But I went over there, I waited, and I got a few more diamonds. And now we're down to 4. We're down to 4. You chew through the diamonds so fast. It's sad. All right, so do I need to come over here to show you anything? Maybe. Let's look at this. And you'll see if I hold down Shift, species is missing. That's fine because we don't want to overwrite the species. But look down towards the bottom where it says both 3. Humidity tolerance, both 3. Temperature tolerance, both 3. And somewhere in here is effect. Towards the center, explore. That, I have decided, is the effect that I enjoy the most, and that's what we were going after. Let's come over here to our little bee section. I've reorganized stuff, so here's my bees chest, where I simply have a princess, pristine stock if possible, and the largest stack of drones that I can have. You'll see there's some, like for the blue guy, where I used up the princess, probably to make the pink, probably to make something else, probably to crossbreed. Imperial, austere, steadfast, heroic, endemic. That's how we finally got our effect that we so desire. And I kept going. And I got the Imperial, because the Imperial is important for an item that we're going to be crafting as many of as we can. And then I also had to get these, the white and the blue and the pink and the red, so that we could get the magenta, because the magenta had the both 3 traits, and I think the pink had the both 3 trait. One of them for humidity, one of them for temperature. All of my extra bees, princesses, excuse me, all the various bee products we've been making. I do have these modest queens in here. Now that I have the both 3, I could run them through that and then actually put them in a bee house close by. Couldn't do that before because they're so picky on what they want, and I have not found an environment that they want yet, but now I don't have to worry about that. Extra drones, so many extra drones. I don't know what I'm going to do with these guys. And the most important part is, here's my traits. You've seen these, except now I have them classified. Production speed, we have the best trait for this category available, so that's why it says done. Same with fertility, tolerance, effect, flowers, territory. I need to get the trait that lets my bees work during the rain. That would be beautiful. Every time it rains, my bees, they get confused. Flowering, this isn't important unless we're going to do tree breeding, which I might attempt. So far I got nothing. And lifespan, I have shortest and I have longer, but now that we have extra bees, there is longest available, which I would like to attain. And my beautiful species trait, where we got these beautiful gene samples for the species. So anytime, if I need something else, I can just make it directly. So every time we mutate, every time we get a bee, I get its species trait before I continue on. And so that makes the process take a little bit longer, but it's worth it because it's going to give us, as I mentioned before, a shortcut later on. Let's grab these. Let's go down and show you what we're working on now. This looks kind of funky. I'm not sure if it's set up the way I want, but for now it's good. In here we have the Imperial Queen, and they are running nonstop with the longer trait and production set to the highest, the fastest production producing. And these are the only bees of all the bees that can produce royal jelly. And so that's why I need them. And we have 4 of them, and they're set to have 1 drone. So they're not making any extra drones. They just do their thing, rotate through, and they make me some royal jelly and dripping combs. The dripping combs are going to give us the honeydew. And the honeydew with the royal jelly is going to make ambrosia. Now, this is not the quickest way. The auto workbench is super slow. So slow. But for something that can just kind of go on its own by itself, it's no big deal. I think there is a better one that crafts faster that might be fun to put down here. Honestly, we don't even need it to be auto-crafted. But I was thinking at some point to have pipes run through and here and da-da-da-da-da. I probably won't do that, because it just makes the system more complicated, and I don't like complicated systems. Actually, before we take off, let's show you what a good food source this is, if I can eat it. Can I eat it when I'm already full? First of all, yes. Okay, but it gives you, look down here, regeneration for a time, which is nice. And man, it's like a high level of regeneration or something, because look how fast those hearts are dancing. Probably regeneration 2. Does it say? And I don't know what it does for food. I don't know what it does for saturation, but I know it's up there. It's nice. The other thing I failed to mention, as you notice as I'm standing here, my experience is just ticking up. Tick, 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 tick. Now, it's not that fast, and I honestly don't know what I need experience for. Maybe if I get some book copying tools, and then I can actually, once I get a good book, make copies of it. but it's not that fast. I'm going to try to make a faster experience farm. Up, 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 and out here in a more centralized location where everybody, all 5 of us that are still playing on the server, can take advantage of it. Over here, over here. And so this morning, I was messing around with the layout. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's also lined up with, let's see if I can show this to you. It's also lined up within a chunk, which means I can use a spot loader anywhere in here, and it's going to keep this whole place loaded. And I can do multiple layers. So my hives with the area larger, if you recall, is an 11 by 11 by 7. And so 11 chunks are 16 by 16. So 12. So this should be 12 wide. So if there's something here, it should reach all the way over there. Hi! So if we filled these things with hives, and we could even put multiple layers of hives, because my bees don't need the sky, they don't need it to be day, and eventually they're not going to need the weather to be clear. I don't know how good it can get. I don't know how fast it can get. I don't know how efficient a bee experience farm can get, but the idea is exciting. It's something to do. It's something to try. All right, viewers, I'm going to leave it there. If we want to start doing some more complicated things, like getting bees that can make diamonds, I might have to cheat in a few things. And that's only because we added extra bees after this world was already created. This world is also limited in size, 3,000 by 3,000 blocks. And we got a couple adventurers that have been on the server that took it upon themselves to try to explore everything for some reason. I suppose I could go into MC Edit and delete some chunks, but I don't like messing with the map like that. I don't want to risk damaging anything on the server, so I might just get maybe 3 hives. I don't know. I'll talk to the other people on the server. I'll make sure no one feels like it's too cheaty, but sometimes you don't want to start the map over. Sometimes you got to do some sneaky things. All right. Until next time, guys, this has been bRanN. I will see you next video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Have a great day.